Yeah,
It's not as easy. It's not as easy as you think, man. And don't think about it too much. The
it
two
definitely
tips.
is easier as you think. It's definitely yeah. Listen to your boy that didn't win, okay?
I came in
First of all-
second, dirtbag.
I
Yeah,
mean, Darren, you
no,
also
you
just
actually-
gave like two polar opposite points. Like, oh, it's a lot harder than you think. Oh, but you can't think about it.
Okay,
But
okay.
yeah,
Don't
like if
listen to your
you're
boy sitting in
sweating the
fourth.
numbers, you're gonna overthink yourself, psych yourself out. And if you're like, oh, this is the strat, it's not the strat.
First person you gotta
You
beat
wanna-
is yourself.
No, the only person you gotta beat is me and Yawning, who is consistent. That's the only people. Blast, I don't know about you. Let's see.
Hi, we're the Infamy team, and we just finished our 2 Fantasy Valorant tournaments over at our Discord, link in the description. We did it for NA Challengers Finals as well as EU. And just real quick, the rules of our Fantasy Valorant tournament is that you can only have maximum 2 people from a team, and you can only do that for one team. You can only double up once, and you need one person to fill each role with a 5th slot for flex. So anyone you want. Probably a duelist if you're
meta.
about
If
the-
you're
yeah,
a meta player.
exactly. But this week we did our first attempt at cash tournaments with $5 buy-ins and a $35 pot. Big money on the line here.
Yo, your
And
boy, big
while-
money.
Whoa. Blast came first.
Should have
With
threw
the team of
money.
Yay, Asuna, Vanity. One person pick a V1 player in our whole thing. BCJ and Sick. But we don't care about that because in second place, the man winning the money.
Is your boy.
Your boy,
Is your boy.
the unmasked podcaster,
Yeah, no. Yeah,
shit talk connoisseur.
Yeah, y'all suck.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
barely watched this game. I watched it because it's actually like this. Honestly, this was actually fun to watch.
I'm
That,
calling hacks though, because you just used our last video. You handpicked everything from our previous fantasy video, and we're like, yay, sounds good. Sick or tens, I'll take both.
But,
Zeta was the
but he
highest
also
scoring.
was on the V1. It's complete bullshit he was throwing, but he did say he was repping V1, so you gotta give Blake that, even though
But
it's
he didn't. He didn't in the fantasy. He didn't.
no,
get
yeah, 'cause
anyone
I
from
wanted
V1.
to win.
Blake said that
In
C9
my
was
heart-
going all the way. Do you
No,
even have a
no,
C9
in my
player?
heart-
They
Yes, I
made
do.
it. They made it
I
pretty
do.
far.
I have
Third.
Zeta.
Oh, he had
I
Zeta.
have
He had
Zeta.
Zeta.
I picked good. Your boy looked at how he thought the bracket was gonna work out, and then he picked the best players from the best teams, and then he won. The only thing I didn't see coming was fucking V1, and I lost because I didn't pick a V1 player.
That's true.
That's literally the only reason.
But that
I
goes off
called
of what I
almost the
said
entire
last
bracket.
video, that you have to have that one player that fucking no one else has or no one else believes in, and that's what set it apart by 4 points.
I think it really helped that it was his controller too. Like Vandy was the highest scoring controller that was picked with 56 points, and it's like, yeah, he was on the team, and he still got to pick, like Asuna and Sick and shit. But yeah,
Nah,
that
straight
one,
up
and
it came out
down to the controller.
Yeah, everyone needs to start
Asuna
picking
really just got
different
got
teams
slammed.
though, because fucking once we got to the finals, it was already over because everyone who could compete with Blake, or well, in the money tournament at least, had the same people as him. So
Except me.
except for Jake, but Jake was so down bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Jake,
Dude,
we see you.
I was branching out.
Yeah, you believe.
I believed in the
wrong
set,
Dabs,
X
Dabs.
set. I thought Daps was the better, had the Dap diff. Clearly not. Victor was my best one. No, I picked Shazam, so I had one safe pick, but it wasn't enough. That's unfortunate.
I literally called it last video. I was like, I'm taking EU as my initiator, but I had Zeta. I switched it. Probably the wrong move, but Zeta was the right move. So yeah, I done goofed because 76 points for Zeta, the controller. Again,
Ooh,
big numbers.
yeah.
That would have doubled your boy's points.
Yeah, NRG really let me down.
I know.
He's looking good.
False hope.
A lot of-
I was thinking Mummy
yeah.
was screwing me at the first part, but he actually turned out okay. Probably got so far 47. But yeah, my 100 Thieves boys, they all were giving me shit about. Carried me, and yay.
Yeah.
Church of Yay.
Well,
Asuna,
I'm just
yeah.
happy 100 Thieves got out, got shit on. Fuck them.
Me too.
Uh,
Me too. Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Get back to selling t-shirts, bro. Yeah.
Honestly, throughout this whole tournament, I was impressed with the entire thing. Like mainly, like obviously everyone's gonna say like V1, but bro, Cloud9 in their games against Envy, that shit was just like fucking.
Leaf is a monster. He's just so fucking
Yeah,
good.
that was straight disrespect. They were like the one play, like I said something in the Discord about it, but like I saw it and I was like, oh man, the confidence on these kids, they just like they're treating this like this isn't even for Iceland. Fucking Leaf was getting shot at by someone and he 180s. Not only was he getting shot at first, he turns on the kid, shoots at him, and then in the middle of shooting at him after having the kid's gun on him first, does a 360 and still kills him. It's like, bro, how is this even possible?
180 quick scope with a
180
like,
and then
fucking
does a
retarded.
360 after emptying half the clip. It like I don't know, it must have threw the kid off that he jumped and did a 360, but it was I saw that and I was like, this is just different. But
Mind games.
straight up.
Honestly, man, I thought Cloud9 was gonna go all the way.
It did look like
V1,
it for a while.
V1 getting lucky.
You
not
think
gonna
they got,
lie.
I don't think they got. I think there was so much hype in the tournament that no one was like. I know I didn't watch a lot of the V1 games until the end because I just didn't think that they were gonna do well. They like really went to the losers bracket.
Mhm.
Yo,
And I
No,
was
it's
just-
because they were
look,
in the
they
first
they
one.
drugged
They
Poise.
they got in the first one.
They drugged Poise because my boy was fucking throwing the whole fucking game. Poise threw, like, honestly, C9 should have won that. Poise should get fired for how bad he played. Dude, I swear to God, I watched him. It was like, it was watching a quick play jet player.
Was
It
that
so bad. I
was that
watched
the
him-
last
I watched
map?
him-
Because
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, no.
yes.
If you look at his stats, I'm pretty sure like they all did pretty well throughout the entire tournament. But like I think he just had a bad.
Wait, yeah, he
Bad,
had
fu-
he had
bad.
real bad game. Floppy didn't do much better, but I don't expect much from my boy. He is shooting star player. That's it. That's all he does. He just throws whatever those fucking.
No, but
Astro.
that's
Yeah.
impressive because he that's something actually another point I want to bring up. I was like, yeah, he's the new guy on C9, and you're playing like the most probably like one of the most game knowledge heavy or dependent characters because you have to know exactly where on the map you need to place your stars and when. So it's like
Yeah, I'm never gonna give that kid shit. My boy came in with 3 weeks of practice and is fucking at like one of the best players in NA. Like
So-
I'm not even gonna be mad at that.
yeah. So do you think that played a fact for how well V1 did? Is the fact that there was basically no actual like usable tape or VODs on them because they completely had to change up their roles with the addition of our boy Whippy on the Viper. So like all their other previous games that from their past tournaments aren't unusable because the player one's out, brought in Whippy, and they changed roles around. So basically, almost a new team in a sense.
Yeah. I wanna say
Honestly-
yes, based on knowledge from other games and like how things go in scrims and like VOD reviewing and how important that is for competitive play. So yeah, I definitely think that was a factor. I also think that a lot of people slept on them, to be complete. But someone called it. I think it was Steel. Someone
Steel
in the
called it.
Discord said that Steel said before the tournament started that V1 was going to Iceland. I don't know if that was from
V1 looked so
scrims.
good in the first challengers, but because they like got in, they qualified the first round. People kind of forgot about them. They got like caught up in Cloud9 and NRG because they looked pretty good in the other one, and that was against
Mhm.
Sentinels as well. So like
Mhm.
people maybe thought higher competition, but V1 looked really good. It was if they didn't lose player one, who I thought also looked really good in the beginning. I was like, I would have definitely picked up one like Leaf. He carried me hard in the first tournament.
Yeah, honestly, I just got let down by Leaf in like other fucking tournaments, so I didn't pick him, and I'm kind of glad I didn't pick him because I was cursing his name for like the beginning of the tournament, but like as it shook out, like as they got more games, he just like didn't perform nearly as well because growing up
He did.
against
He
more.
came in.
Yeah, but
fourth.
they're going like the whole thing is like he's going up against more competitive kids. This kid can't just flick on these kids that are worse than him.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it comes down to like Jake was saying, it's like the teams that they're playing against, like V1, they probably lost because there weren't any VODs on them. So like they don't know what to expect, and that's why Poise looked like a fucking fool out there, just getting caught off sides most of the time. He was dead first most of the time.
Again, I think that was just the last map of the last game. You can't judge the whole tournament off of that one.
I'm not talking about this whole tournament. I'm talking about the one game that he lost to them that mattered. Then why they didn't go to Iceland was because of how Poise played that game. I won't let that one go. I watched that kid jet rush into a kid, and he just pulled out a fucking shotgun on him and shot him in the face. Like from 2 feet away, instead of shooting, he just rushes at him, and they're doing the animation, and he's like pressing up against his body.
Yeah, that's some
like
shit
a
I would
thirsty
do.
dude in a club. Like a thirsty dude in a club, just pressing up on a kid.
Yeah.
Looking bad. I'll find the clip.
With that being said, how do you guys think that? Well, two-part question. The Viper, I think it was a huge difference between like teams going into this tournament or throughout this tournament. The teams that were able to adapt to the Viper were able to excel more and go farther. Now that the Viper has been established, do you guys think that it's going to be a thing that everyone's going to have to adopt, or?
I mean, the good teams have already did. Like you take 100 Thieves, they still I think they ran on like one map or something. They were still on the Omen, and they got shit on. There was a clear, even though like some of the maps were close, there's a clear, you could just tell that they were never gonna be one of the final two teams.
Okay, second part of that
They played
question.
Sentinels really close. I gotta defend my one Thieves boys. They pulled out the sky.
Not really.
That was a pretty close game. So like they destroyed one map, they got destroyed. And
no,
the first
if
one
you
was
look
super
at
close.
the round breakdown. Like,
for Haven 11-13.
Yeah,
Sentinel.
but look how like
Icebox.
Yeah, look at like the first half and then the second half. Like they got a few lucky rounds to like let them like come back into it, but if like they didn't get a few of those clutches, Sentinels would have walked away with the first map.
Oh yeah, they were getting rolled, and then they got.
And
like,
then they
bone.
absolutely shit on them whatever the third map was. Like it wasn't as close as it looks.
All right, second part of that question. So now that you said that the Viper is going to be a thing, EU uses Yoru a lot. Do you think that's going to be something that these NA teams in other regions? I'm not familiar with Latin America, but I do know that they do use him in EU. Do you think that's going to be something NA is going to have to adopt to, or it's negligible?
Are you asking if that character is good or not? Because
No, I'm not asking if the character is good
Well,
enough, or if it.
Well, was TL and Fnatic using it? Because those are the only teams that matter right now for EU. And I didn't really catch most of their games, to be honest. So I'm not
Unless
sure.
someone else picks it up because like they saw it worked pretty well for someone, but it's like, oh, they're doing that, but I could do it way better, and they take that as like a pocket strat.
That's what I'm talking about. Like having strats like that in your pocket, because in what was it, V1 versus Sentinels, the first game they tried to do the Yoru, and the casters were talking about how it's a big strat in EU, and they saw what they were trying to do, trying to bring something different. Obviously, Sentinels saw through it. So I just wonder if strats like that are going to be what it takes to win Iceland when you're going up against all these other regions who are doing different things. Like Steph, do you think? So I guess the question I'm asking is, do you think it's better to stay safe and play what you know, or like try these risky plays that people aren't going to be expecting?
Honestly, if you can get value out of it, yeah. But like realistically, not one of the teams that went from EU played him at all during that final. Not one game.
It depends. Like, I think it's gonna depend on how their scrims go leading into it. Like, if like, I think it's pretty clear that Sentinels is clearly better than V1. So it's like that's our NA's best hope to win Iceland. So it's like I think it depends on how the scrims go, and if like they fare up pretty evenly or like pretty negligible to let's say TL, because it looked like TL's just like my takeaway from it. It seems like they're clearly the best team coming in from EU. So if they're pretty close with TL and TL pulls it out, or if like they see TL pulling it out or whatever, then maybe they'll try it because like, oh, we're just as good as them, so maybe they'll gamble, like, or they won't need to. Sorry, reverse that. Maybe they won't feel the need to like, oh no, we can just beat them because we know we're as good, if not better than them. But if there's like a clear gap that they find out between Sentinels and then like TL's like way up here, then maybe they do pull out some of these more niche strats to like to try to, you know, sneak a few rounds in to clutch a win, because then it's like if you're just going to mirror someone and you're the worst team, there's nowhere you're going to win that. Like 99 out of 100 times. Using those like unique clutch like cheese strats could give you like close that gap for a lower skilled team.
It's only a cheese strat until it becomes the meta.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, that like all these teams are all throughout this whole challengers process, they're all on the same level, and what it's going to come down to is the not the mechanics, more the strategy end of things and how they execute on it.
I hope so too. And like honestly, what I'm worried about is that like TL using that on Sentinels because they're not used to playing against that character. So like, are they going to actually have anything to combat that if it is effective? I'm not really too worried about it because I'm like, that character is trash. But I mean, like, we'll see if he becomes viable. But like, looking at what characters they used in their finals tournament, they didn't even use him once, so I wouldn't be really too worried about it. But like, we really don't know what the rest of the world is going to bring, and like, are they going to have something against it because they're not used to it playing in their region?
Yeah, because like Viper coming into the game was just like a huge game changer, so something like that could be.
I'm happy about it, honestly.
I do think the top level teams should be able to handle it though, and like you shouldn't really be able to they should be able to adapt on the fly, so it shouldn't matter. Like you got 100 Thieves pulled out like the Sky or whatever against Envy and Sentinels, but I think they lost both maps because they were like, okay, just switch it up and do this now. So I don't think, unless it's like a crazy broken thing, but like the Viper, which everyone should be pretty much ready to use. But you know, stylistically, the matchups could definitely impact in Iceland, just stuff you're not used to and you couldn't have scrimmed against. So
I'm happy Viper's in it, man. Yeah. It's so much more fun to watch.
Even though I think Sentinels is the better team, I'm kind of more excited to watch V1. Kind of going back off the point I made earlier, that they're in a sense a new team and they're starting fresh. So that's maybe this contributes to why they kind of gelled so well going into this newish Viper meta. Is that like they didn't have like they had to like kind of reset, like hard reset with like the new role change ups, where some of the other teams who had to like hard adjust like their minds, the way they were playing for like a few months into adapting Viper into it, they had to like by default kind of start fresh, and it's like, all right, and just like kind of look at how they approach the game with fresh eyes. So like maybe that's why like Whippy was able to like really do a solid performance coming in for his first like debut on that Viper. And then like you saw their plays, like he'd always snake bite the spike as soon as they planted it, and then like, you know, lurk around, and like he got a lot of kills when they were trying to defuse whoever they're playing against.
Viper is definitely huge. She can hold points by herself.
Yeah, so it'll be like, interesting to see like how well they can like, you know, be malleable, being such a kind of like a revamped team.
And that's what I'm more looking forward to, seeing how these teams have to rebuild themselves throughout the process that is, or the tournament that is Iceland. And to be honest, I like Sentinels, but I don't see them going far in Iceland. I hope they do, because NA, but based on their previous performances, they were like kind of slipping. I mean, a little bit. It was too close for comfort.
I think you gotta be you gotta have some NA hope, because there's no chance C9's winning in MSI. That's not. They already lost to Damon this morning, so.
Hey, it didn't look too bad. There was hope.
There was not hope.
I always like the you just need the potential coming in big boy situations where it's like you get knocked around, like learn from it, and then like become a monster in your own right. But I don't think that's gonna happen for C9, but
no,
that's how you gotta do it.
There's the hugest top gap. Fudge had counter pick, and he still is getting solo killed and picked out.
It's so fun. I feel like Fudge was like so lauded in like in an NA, but now it's like, dude, yeah. These are real top laners.
And the thing, it's like, oh man. But yeah, going back to Valorant, it's like, no, I think Sentinels has like decent chance. We'll see how the other regions, and I think Munchkin, former Boston Uprising and Seoul Dynasty player, I think he's on one of the Japanese team. I'm not sure if Zumba is made it, but he was on one of the Korean teams as well. So there's some other Overwatch people, Steve, possibly going.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see.
I'm more interested in like people like Ons, like they actually were pretty like persistent people. Like Munchkin played for like a really long time, but I feel like once it came down to it, he couldn't really go. But it's a totally different game. You know, he's like a Tracer player, so.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot different too. Like when we see how these other regions like shake out, and we can see who's going, and then for like fantasy, it's like we have no idea. We have no idea who's coming from these other teams, and it's like, is EU and NA going to be top seed going in, or are there going to be like you're going to see Brazil pop off? Like, who do you think is going to take it all? No knowledge.
Find out.
Knowledge. No knowledge. Call it.
Find out in our Fantasy Iceland preview, because we're going to try to figure it out. Well,
yeah, call it in the comments.
No idea what's happening.
Call it in the comments. Who you think is going to fucking take it all? No knowledge on who you're actually playing against.
Hey, no knowledge got Blake first place in the money tournament. So
straight bullshit. Your boy actually did the research. Your boy was out here research out here.
Got shamed last time. You know, like I didn't
I don't
tournament.
Blake, when we were doing again with that one and our Overwatch one we were doing, you were hyping up players like all night, and then you forget to fucking pick them.
Yeah, but like, was it forgetting, or was it because I was like?
No, you were just
in our superior fantasy tournament. You can pick whoever you want. Build your fantasy team. I was getting rolled by the draft.
I thought you were gonna say you were mind gaming us and like saying these names so we pick them, and it's like, nah, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, I'll be able to say that in retrospect, but on record, yeah, your boy, just. Piggy was not the pick, okay? It was.
It was not. Yo, Piggy's on my team.
Lastro was the only one. Lastro was the only one that I should have picked. But like, let's see how he actually does.
John does not have him clean. But yeah, we will be back for more fantasy on our Discord for Iceland. Go sign up in the link below and go make your team as soon as Brazil finishes, so we can actually show you who's available to pick. But yeah, any tips for any newcomers or any vets?
Yeah,
it's not as easy. It's not as easy as you think, man. And don't think about it too much. It
definitely is easy as you think. It's definitely listen to your boy that didn't win, okay?
I came in second, dirtbag.
I mean, Darren, you also just gave like two polar opposite points. Like, it's a lot harder than you think. Oh, but you can't think about it.
Okay.
But yeah, like if you're sweating the numbers, you're gonna overthink yourself, psych yourself out. And if you're like, oh, this is the strat, it's not the strat.
First person you gotta beat is yourself.
No, the only person you gotta beat is me and Yawning, who is consistent. That's the only people. Blast, I don't know about you. Let's see when you put money
Blast
on.
Didn't do bad last time either. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Let's see
but
what you
that's
look
a good
like
point. When you put money on it, you get it in your own head. Like
like your boy was bottom of the charts until Skin was in the game. Now I'm a true player. Now I'm out here. You gotta beat me. And you want to know the real methodology? You fucking pick. Make your bracket first, then pick who you think is gonna do well in your bracket, and go from there. Easy.
See, there's a whole bunch of different methods of going about fantasy. That's why I said your whatever strat you think you have, someone else has. That's not a strat. That's your strat. My strat's different.
What are your earnings? What are
my earnings? My earnings are $15. $5 less dollars than you. Yes, it is. No, actually 10. Sorry, my bad.
Sounded like less.
Sounded like not as much as me. And with that.
Yeah, we'll give you the full breakdown on who to pick for your fantasy right before Iceland. But till then, come chat in the Discord, and we'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, and put money on the line if you want to get your earnings up.